I wanted to start this video by showing you my Anthurium pallidiflorum's new leaf, and I set the camera up here so that you could see it, but sadly it seems to spin the other way when I do that, so ta-da! There it is beautiful and it is huge. I think it's going to be like 1.5 meters, which is absolutely crazy. But hello everyone, I hope you are doing well today. I thought today we could do a very chilled, very cozy video. Just get on top of a few things before Christmas, because I don't know about you, when it gets to this time of year and it feels like everyone's kind of winding down and I'm like, there's still so much to be done and I don't want planty stuff to get forgotten about over the holidays. So I'm looking at a few things here or there that I'm like, this plant really needs help. I'm looking at one in my cabinet that is in desperate need of some help. And so yeah, I just thought we could get through some things together, have a chat, have a catch up, and yes, that is what this video will be. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, as I always say, if you've got stuff to do as well, whether it's planty stuff or just household stuff or whatever it is, things that you just need a little bit of motivation for, then feel free to do it along with me. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So with my plant care, I know I'm repeating myself, I know I've said this before, but I often find that it kind of, things come in waves. Like I will go through periods of feeling really on top of things, like nothing's going wrong and oh my goodness, I just need to buy more plants because I'm almost not bored, but like I want more to do. And then all of a sudden when issues strike, and this is why I have to keep reminding myself not to buy new plants all the time, when issues do strike, then things can feel quite overwhelming quite quickly. And I don't think I'm right in the middle. So I'm going to move because the lighting is awful. I don't think I'm right in the middle of like drama per se at the moment. But I have just noticed over these last few weeks that there have been quite a few things that are going wrong. I have found pests in quite a few places, not badly, but I think it is just that time of year. Like, I don't know what, like obviously the central heating goes on and spider mites come out because they love the dry air, and then thrips just seem to multiply at a ridiculous rate. So I've just been going around with my horticultural soap and just scrubbing everything down. On the whole, I would say we're fine. I don't think we're at infestation standard. In fact, we're absolutely not. But I have just been kind of going back to certain plants that I thought were in the clear and being like, how are you doing? And then noticing that there's a new bout of thrips or something like that. So it can be a little bit stressful. And the first area that I want to tackle today, I think, is probably my cabinet. Also, it is just a little bit chaotic in general in here at the moment. It's, as I say, right before Christmas, and me and Ross have just got quite a lot on at the moment, and we're just hoarding things, and it's just a bit chaotic. But my cabinet on the whole is looking... Oh, that was a very loud grunt, Yoli. Bless her. Look at her in her bed. Oh, you are such a gorgeous girl. But yeah, as I say, everything in my cabinet on the whole, nothing's looking awful. Nothing's looking absolutely awful. But as soon as I open it, I see, like, for example, my Alocasia green shield. It's got leaves that are just kind of hanging there. This is an Alocasia that I really have struggled with. And I feel like... or I keep feeling like I've turned corners with it and then realise that in fact maybe I haven't, because I know the last time I was struggling with this plant, a lot of you said, why don't I get it into a bigger container and maybe it just needs a bit more space? And I did that and I managed to get it out of the 2-leaf club. As you can see, it has technically, although they're on their way out, it's got 4 leaves at the moment. And maybe it is just because its root system has grown and expanded so much in the new container I've put it in. But it is now starting to go back to the 2-leaf thing, and its conditions otherwise have stayed stable. So I don't quite know what to do apart from put it in a bigger pot again. But it feels like I've literally only just put it into this container. It's been less than a couple of months and I'm like, do I just keep doing that? I'm going to be on like 20 centimetre pots in no time. So I'm at a little bit of a loss with this one, but I don't think it's pest related. I don't think it's anything else to worry about. Let me bring you in a bit closer as well so you can kind of see what things are looking like in here a little bit better. Ow, that was my elbow. But yeah, everything else on the whole is looking okay. I've got in fact, I'm going to just chop it now. I was going to say an alocasia leaf that I suspected a little while ago might have been fungal, but actually, I'm pretty sure it's pest related. I actually can't see any pests, but can you see all that damage there? And considering the rate at which this plant grows, I think chopping it, obviously I have chopped it now, but I think chopping it is definitely the best shout, just because I don't want to potentially leave something in such a contained space that might not be totally healthy. So yeah, I'll actually probably get this leaf under the microscope later and just have a little look just to see if I can see anything, but there's obviously something going on and I've been thinking it for a while and it's only on this leaf and it has been getting worse. So yeah, if in doubt, chop the leaf. But the main thing that I wanted to start with in here is actually up on this level. And it is the Musa Florida that I got from Downtown Plant Club recently. And this is the one that I did suspect might be a little bit of drama. It arrived looking, don't get me wrong, it was very, very healthy, but it had been stuck in the post, I think, for about 6 days. And it arrived just looking a little bit worse for wear. And I have already chopped a couple of leaves back. As you can see, that one there is starting to yellow. The new leaf it had here is unfurling, but it's unfurling looking very unhealthy. And I think this might need to be a little bit of a rehab project for a while. Some of you have said to me that this one, because it loves so much moisture, you've been like, get it straight into semi-hydro. And I'm not sure how good its root system is. I did check it when I first got the plant and it looked very spindly and small. And so doing anything like that scares me a little bit. So to start with, I would like to get it out of its pot. I'd like to have a proper look at the roots and then think about how I move forward, because oh my God, I love this plant so much, but it does just seem, especially since it's so juvenile and it has been so cold, it does seem very unhappy and a little bit sensitive. So yeah, I'm gonna set up maybe at the table actually, and then have a look at this one. So I've brought a bowl of water over as well, just in case I need to rinse the roots. And at the bottom of the stem, even like, and again, I don't know yet if this is anything to worry about, but I can see it's a little bit dark. I'm not sure if that's just from where it's lost leaves in the past. Oh, yeah, God, it's so fragile. And actually, if you look at the amount of soil that's just come off that for the amount of root system, there's very little root at all. So out of interest, what would you guys recommend? Those of you that have this plant and have had success with this plant, what would you do? Because I'm just looking at it. Oh, there's one root that looks really healthy. Oh no. Okay, that fell off. Let me give it a little bit of a rinse and have it look properly. You know what? This big long root here I'm actually going to chop back, just because it doesn't look particularly healthy. It looks quite sludgy. Oh, meaning that I still need to give them a clean up. Just give them a good rinse. But it does have some thick, healthy roots, but the only ones currently supporting this plant are these ones here, which I know are still a little bit dirty, so you can't see them that well. Just give it a proper rinse. The base of the plant currently looks just like a spring onion. But yeah, I'm cleaning up this root system the best I possibly can. It's really hard to know. As I say, it's so hard to know what the best thing to do is here. Although there is a part of me that thinks if I was to put this plant into semi-hydro now, it would probably be okay. Because I've never grown this exact plant before and because it has far less root than I was expecting, I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to get a container and just put it into sphagnum moss, just because that's often a really good way to help rehab roots that aren't 100% or that do just need help developing a little bit more. And then when it's got a bit more of a sturdy, stable root system, hopefully in the next month or two, then I can transfer it to semi-hydro. But the good news is I was worried about that bit just there, and actually now I'm looking at it up close, I can see that that is just from where older leaves have kind of died off and I've cut them back. That's actually not affecting the main, I guess, stem of the plant at all. It feels really, really firm, really healthy. So I do think maybe if I do transfer it to sphagnum moss just for a little while, then yeah, then the plant will be much stronger and much healthier in the long run. So yes, I'm just going to give these a final little rinse, get as much off as I can, and then we can do that. And I always say it, but whenever I'm rehabbing a plant or whenever I'm trying to kind of encourage some nice healthy roots, I will always use a clear container just so that I can monitor the roots really well. I can see obviously when like new ones start to grow and stuff like that, but also if things start to go a little bit wrong, then hopefully I can see straight away and deal with it. I'm also running so low on sphagnum moss. This will be enough, but I'm hoping I don't need to do any moss pole rehabbing or anything like that today. Hopefully the next time we see these roots, they'll be looking much better. It does seem to be happy in my cabinet though, this plant, so I think I will probably keep its environment the same, particularly as it adjusts to this new way of growing. It's nice and warm in my cabinet, it's got good humidity, good light. So in theory, the plant should be very happy in there. So yeah, I'm going to give this a little water through and then pop it back in my cabinet. One of the other things in my cabinet, obviously it's got a yellowing leaf that I need to cut back, but is my variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. And I know a little while ago I said I didn't want this plant anymore, so I chopped it up, I took it to the plant swap, and honestly, it's just sod's law, isn't it? Since I chopped it up, it has been growing back so much better and so much more more beautiful than it was before for me. And now I'm like, oh my God, maybe I do love this plant. Again, I'm just growing it in sphagnum moss. It is a little bit dry actually. It needs to rehydrate, but I'm gonna, oh, that just pulled away by itself. But yeah, I'm like, what do I do with this one? Because I'm kind of trying to cut down on plants on moss poles in my collection, just because obviously moss poles are a lot of maintenance. And I did have this growing on a moss pole before and things just went a bit wrong. And I'm like, maybe I just let it grow kind of wild. I'm not sure. I know I don't have to make a decision on it right now, but I like to know my plans for plants. So this is one that I'm definitely going to revisit in the new year and then make some decisions on. But for now, I'm just going to rehydrate its moss. I've got my watering can just here. And then, yeah, as I say, come back to it. Okay, and then this is one that I have been putting off for quite a while. And this is, oh, I've just seen something quite exciting. Oh, this is so exciting. Not what I was about to show you, but we'll come back to that. My Anthurium bullatus, which if you watched my Anthurium video recently where I ranked all my Anthuriums, I was saying this one never gives me any growth. I'm really struggling with it. And I've just seen that this new leaf is about to unfurl, which again, like it's like it heard me talking about it and suddenly kicked into action. So that's very exciting. But this is my Syngonium chiapense, and I got this from one of you guys at the Bristol plant swap earlier this year. It's growing beautifully, and it's another one that I am toying with the idea of, like, what do I do with it? Do I get it on a moss pole? And I know you don't have to grow this plant on a moss pole, you can just stake it, but I'm like, again, I kind of feel like I should, because it's got these insane aerial roots that are looking for something to climb. I'm also about to have a pretty major rearrange of my plants in a lot of ways. I've spoken about this over on Patreon, and I will chat to you guys more about it in the new year, but I'm like, I might chop some things up. I might play about with some completely new ways of growing, and I might start doing things a little bit differently. So yeah, but the reason I'm coming to it now is because it is crammed into this jar. It's obviously yellowing down here, and although yellowing leaves are kind of normal at this time of year, obviously it is in my cabinet, it is in a stable environment, and so that is probably just down to the fact that the plant isn't getting the nutrients it needs. So I think I'm definitely going to repot it today. It's also giving me a new leaf just there, which is so exciting. I think I'm going to repot it. I'm hoping I won't need to break the jar to do so, because it isn't super root bound. But yeah, let's just cover this table in some more soil, and then I will have a clear up afterwards. I'm just going to try and, in fact, let's get it out first, and then we can think about how I want to grow it next. As I've said so many times, although this no drainage way of growing is really great for a lot of plants, when you do use a jar or anything with like a lip on the top, it makes it so hard to get plants out of. And I'm just aware that this one does have this lovely new leaf, and I don't want to cause it too much stress. Okay, things seem to be loosening a little bit. As I was saying at the beginning of this video though, I think this time of year it's quite, it can be quite easy to neglect your plants because of everything going on. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Christmas, but I am not like the busiest around Christmas. I've said it before, but both me and Ross have very small families. We've only got like a couple of trips that we need to make over Christmas. But even then, I think just because the world just seems to get busier, like you get distracted and hopefully take some time off, and I just find myself neglecting my plants a little bit when I don't want to. So just making time to do some things beforehand is quite a good idea. And I'm also thinking in the new year I'd like to do a massive reset of like the cupboard of chaos and lots of things, and just make myself allow myself to feel a little bit more on top going into this year, because I did it this time, or around about this time last year, and it just set me up so nicely, and I felt so good about things. And in fact, I think like January, February, March, maybe even April, I continued to do that every single month, and I was like, I'll never stop doing this. And I often say that, and then I forget about things, and I haven't done a reset since. Oh, we're getting there now. And yeah, it just makes you feel so much better and so much more on top, because as I've already said in this video, like, plant care is so wonderful until it starts feeling too much and it starts feeling overwhelming. And I think just by setting aside even just like a few intensive hours here or there once a month, it can just help you to feel like everything is just more manageable. And I'm like, why don't I make time to do that more? So yeah, actively I'm gonna make that a New Year's resolution. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions? I don't tend to really do them. I know some people kind of really stick with certain things, and I know just like mentally going into a new year, it can be quite a good time to make resolutions because it feels like, oh no, did that go in my coffee? Okay. It kind of feels like a new start. So I'm all for it. So nearly there. It's just getting that last little bit through. It's all kind of stuck together in there. I really just want to get my hand in there and break it all up, but obviously I can't. Could I poke a stick in there? I'm just going to give it a gentle poke and try and untangle some of these roots. But like I say, I've got, oh my goodness, so many exciting, potentially exciting and exciting things happening going into this next new year. And there's so many things that I really do want to talk about and I want to share with you guys. But at the same time, you know, when you just kind of want to wait for a little bit of solidity with things before you're like, oh my goodness, this is happening. I have, as I say, spoken about this over on Patreon quite a lot. So if you want some more updates on what's going on, then by all means head over there. But I think I will wait and chat you through things as they happen, hopefully quite soon into the new year, so you won't have long to wait. But yeah, I'm just really thinking about loads of new ways of growing. One of my New Year's resolutions is 100% to set up more experiments in my collection as well, because I've been so good at making excuses like, oh, I don't have enough space for that, or like, that's going to be really difficult to monitor, or like, I don't know. I've just been very good at not doing things, and I think when I have a shift up of how I'm growing my plants and like the spaces I'm growing my plants in, it should be easier for me to, I don't know, actually start doing all of these things. So if there's any experiments you would like to see, oh yay! Yeah, any experiments that you would like to see or anything you're interested in, please let me know. One of the things that I've been really interested to do for a while, in fact I've been thinking about this for like a year and I just haven't set it up and I haven't done it, is I would love to get cuttings from one plant, for example a pothos plant, and I've done like simple experiments like this before, but propagate them all in exactly the same way, root them all, same plant, same cuttings, same genes, all that sort of stuff, and once they're all rooted, pot them up and then play about with like different substrates or different fertilizers and monitor the soil and have a look at things under the microscope and monitor the growth and just see what works best. Yeah, I would love to just have a play about with that and be able to be like, right, definitively, this works for this plant and that works for that plant. I just think it would be fun. So yeah, that is a big resolution for me, to play more. Because yeah, you get very stuck in the everyday, and I think also probably when I've got the time, space and freedom to be able to play a little bit more, I probably won't feel the need, famous last words, I probably won't feel the need to buy as many plants as regularly, because I won't be limited to just, I don't know, I feel like it would just be more to keep me on my toes, and that's what I think I need. So these roots actually don't look bad. They're a little bit dry towards the bottom, but I don't think they particularly need a prune. Oh, and I know I said I wasn't going to do anything moss poley today. Part of me is thinking, why don't I just get this plant onto a moss pole, even if I decide to change it up afterwards? Just because it is so ready to go. And the fact it's giving me this new leaf as well, like, why not set it up in the best way possible? So I think I'm going to contradict everything I said earlier, and I think I'm going to get the plants on a moss pole. I also think I'm just going to shut up and get the plant on a moss pole. this should probably, yeah, I reckon that will be about the right size for this plant. I'm going to do the moss pole first, I think. In fact, what am I talking about? I'm definitely going to do the moss pole first, because if I don't, it will be very difficult to try and get this plant potted up. But again, I've still got some of these ones left. These are just the ones that I got on Amazon. And they're just grid moss poles, and they do work really quite well. So yeah, they're just like that, and then you just fold them up and fill them as you need. I almost definitely won't be able to fill this whole moss pole just because I don't have that much moss. But it should be enough to get me started, and then I can just fill as I go. I'll start filling the moss from about there so that the bottom can have the soil in it and it won't start to rot, because often if you fill moss all the way to the bottom of the moss pole, it can just mean that you end up accidentally overwatering your plants, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, as I say, for Christmas itself this year, we're actually trying to have, we're doing our best to just have a really quiet, chilled Christmas, because I don't know, the lead up to Christmas always feels a little bit like crazy, and I've done loads of lovely things with friends and stuff. It's been so nice, but actual Christmas itself, bearing in mind as well, last year we were ill for all of Christmas. We're not doing anything on Christmas Day. It's just me, Ross and Yoli here at the flat, relaxing, probably watching silly Christmas films and just not doing a lot. And then, yeah, seeing family a couple of days here or there, and that is about it. I don't think we even have plans for New Year's this year, and old Claire would be like, oh my God, you're so crazy. But genuinely, the older I get, the more I know I say it all the time, but the more I just appreciate the moments where I don't have to do anything, and just staying in, having good food, having snuggles with Yoli, going for nice walks. Those are the things I want to do over Christmas. So yeah, that is what I plan on doing. Cool. I think I'm just going to fill it to there for now. I could actually probably fill the whole moss pole, but I always just like to make sure I'm left with some sphagnum moss on hand just in case things start going wrong, like I just showed you with the Musa Florida. Like I use it for rehabbing all the time, and at this time of year things can start going wrong really quite quickly, so I'm hoping I won't have any major drama, but it does just make me feel better to know I've got some on hand. I always freak out when I'm out of sphagnum moss. And then the substrate that I just used that was in the jar, I am just going to reuse that just because I only repotted the plant. I only potted the plant up like that maybe 3 months ago, if that. So yeah, I'm not like worried about reusing it in this case. I may, however, need to mix up some more to actually pot the plant with. I've got some left over here, which is just, this is like my spillover bowl. I've got so many things in here. I've got semi-hydro, I've got perlite, I've got everything. And to be honest, it's a very chunky mix, but I think that will probably be all right for this plant, so I might just go in with this and see how we get on. I can't see the plant not liking it. So there's actually loads of room for this plant to climb on this pole, so I do think that this is the best decision. I'm now just going to attempt to like tuck some of these aerial roots like that into the moss pole. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to do. They should just start to naturally go in there themselves as the plant continues to climb, but yeah, I'm just going to very gently try and guide them. I'm just going to try and secure it with a bit of tape. This is just Velcro, in fact. Garden Velcro. It's so useful. Use it for so many things. There we go. And the good thing is I'll probably only ever have to use 1 or 2 pieces, because as the plant grows and I want to tie it onto the next bit, hopefully by that point it will have attached here, so I can just take off this bit and continue to do that up. But yeah, that feels like, obviously it won't be able to go in my cabinet anymore, but that does feel like the right decision for the plant. And as I say, I can always change it out should I decide to do things differently in the new year. But yeah, I'm going to give it a water through, and then I'm going to put it with my other moss poley plants. I'm running low on big cover pots. Is this going to fit? Ooh. It's a bit of a squeeze, but just to stop the drips, I think that will do for now. And then before I tidy the table up, there is another one that is not doing badly, but could be doing better, I think. This is my Alocasia Longiloba Silver, and this one has given me 1 leaf in the time that I've owned it. I think it was this leaf. And I have had this plant for maybe 5-6 months now. Yeah, it's been so slow to grow, and I've got it in chunky semi-hydro, and although this is the way that I'm successfully growing the majority of my alocasias, some of the roots, some look really, really healthy, but some of the roots, like for example, just there, can you see? It looks like it starts off a healthy root, and then that bit there looks a bit translucent / a bit brown. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is why the plant hasn't been doing very well. So I'm like, let's get it out of its semi-hydro mix. In fact, let's do that into a bag so that I can boil up the semi-hydro and reuse it. Yeah, I'm gonna empty it out into a carrier bag. I was gonna say the soil that I've used, oh, this is a wonky camera. The soil that I've used here from my downtown plant club, that has not made the camera angle any better at all, but we're just gonna go with it. The soil here is going in the bin. Basically everything that's on the table, substrate wise, is gonna go in the bin, just because this is the substrate that that plant came in. Although it looks okay, it's probably not what I would choose to use anyway. I don't know, like I know nothing about its environment beforehand, and I just prefer to discard it. Like sometimes I'll reuse soil. Semi-hydro, as I say, is a completely different kettle of fish. I will absolutely reuse that once I've boiled it and sterilised it. But it's, I don't know, sterilising soil, you can do it. You do lose a lot of the goodness from the soil when you do that. So a lot of the time I opt to not. Yeah, okay. So, let's just pour all of that in there for now anyway. Right. I'm glad I did this, because some of these roots, like there, That is not good. That looks very healthy, and in fact I can pretty much guarantee, yeah, that will just pull away. That is rotten. And not all of the roots are like this, but there's a lot that are. It's the spindly thin roots, and sometimes this can happen when you've just recently transferred a plant to like a different way of growing, like semi-hydro, just because they seem to develop, in fact, where are my scissors? Yeah, they seem to develop a slightly different kind of root when you move, oh, I mean most plants in fact, when you move them from growing in something like soil to something like either water or semi-water, semi-hydro. So this is probably just the plant adjusting and getting rid of some of the things it doesn't need anymore. But if I don't remove it, there is obviously a chance that the rot can spread. So it's not bad actually. It's not as bad as I thought it might be. So I think probably doing this and then getting it back into semi-hydro should be the best thing for it. I'm not sure if this is the reason why it hasn't been growing for me. Maybe it is just a really slow to grow alocasia, I don't know, but I've got some others that have given me, I don't know, 8 leaves in the time that this one has given me none. And it kind of, for ages, has been looking like, look there, looking like it's gonna give me a leaf, but that actually feels quite, I don't know, it might be the start of something, but it hasn't budged, and it's been looking like that for well over a month now, so I am a little sceptical. Yeah, most things look okay though, which is good. So yeah, that is what we're left with, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just gonna go give this container that it was in a little rinse out. Again, I don't think it would probably be all right if I just reused it straight away, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna get the dregs of the semi-hydro out of it and just give it a rinse with some hot water, and then we can repot it. And then I'm gonna go in again with the same mix that I had it in before. It's just a chunky semi-hydro mix. And I don't always opt for the chunky stuff, but I think a lot of the time, especially if there is a plant that you're worried about root rot with or something, it just helps with aeration so much. So it tends to be my go-to. And I have rinsed everything in this big tub as well. If you're kind of like moving your semi-hydro about a lot and shaking it, then sometimes you do need to rinse it again because obviously more dust is created, but typically, because I just move it from the cupboard to here, it's usually fine. Perfect. And yeah, as I say, I'm not sure that that was enough to be causing the issues of not growing. Maybe I need to have it in a different spot, like maybe it needs more light or more heat. It's actually quite warm, like in fact it's very mild today, but it has been quite cold recently, so maybe that's it. I was saying recently as well, I don't have any of my plants on heat mats or anything like that. I do occasionally use heat mats for propagation, but part of me is thinking that maybe if the cold weather sticks around and I have got plants that are either not happy or are perhaps in a bit of dormancy, which this one certainly is, maybe I should try and introduce some heat mats and have a play about with that. But yeah, I feel like I've made a good start this morning. I feel like there's more that I need to do, so I will probably make another one of these videos in the next few days, but I think I'm going to leave it here this morning just because I'm aware, like as I've been going around and finding plants to bring over, I'm aware I've got so much watering to do, and I'm like, maybe I should just get on top of that and then I'll have a better overview of everything else. So yes, if you were doing stuff with me, I really hope you got lots done. And yeah, I'll let you know how these plants do, because at least a couple of them are still, maybe not in the danger zone, but like things are going on. Also, I was going to say, I know I never moved on to the Alocasia Green Shield. I think what I will do for now is trim back these leaves and then, oh God, probably upgrade its pot size again. But if anyone has any tips, please let me know and I will do them, and I will hopefully make it work that way. But yes, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.